should take a piss. Just like Bud and Doyle, I'll be right back. I gotta drain the lizard. 5 seconds. Countdown. 5, 4, 3, 2. Wait. Welcome to Debt to Cinema. I'm Brian Gillis.
And I'm Steven Maltmanex.
Like most people, we love going to the theater and catching the latest releases. However, you can sadly put a big dent in your wallet.
Fortunately, living in the digital age makes the viewing possibilities endless from the comforts of home.
Many of these films that you can see right from your couch, we're ashamed to say we missed, despite labeling ourselves cinephiles.
So join us as one or both of us cross off a title from our list of shame.
It can be an all-time essential classic,
Or an underrated piece of cinema that's worth giving a shot.
hell, it might just be some trashy film we want the other's opinion on. So sit tight and join us as we pay off our debts, $1 at a time.
As mentioned earlier, I am a film student. Unemployment's on the horizon. But a lot of my peers, it's kind of upsetting because all they want to do is make award-winning movies. And I'd be happy to make Biodome. I want people just to laugh at what I make. Which, thank you. Biodome's great. I love Pauly Shore.
The Biodome, a pure, self-contained environment where 5 scientists are about to be sealed off from every conceivable form of contamination, except one.
Well, check out that mall, man.
Our dream is finally at hand.
What kind of mall is this?
Get them out of here!
The doors are sealed for 1 year. We're stuck here.
That's right.
12 months?
Yes.
52 weeks.
Yes.
385 days?
Now, the whole world is watching.
Just because we're stuck in a bubble doesn't mean we can't cause any trouble.
On 3, 3.
So you thought this was a 420 pick, didn't you?
Yeah, it's not bad at all. It's an Earth Day pick.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, which I was going to say good call on that, actually, because I never would have thought of that holiday.
You're welcome. It's a twofer. I mean, they are clearly stoners, and it's part of a gag. This is a real place on Earth that they use for a film that is proclaimed as one of the worst films of all time. Was it currently 5% on Rotten Tomatoes, 1% on Metacritic? It didn't get its budget, but like $3 million. It was like made for 15, it only grossed 12. And yet, I still love it. Like, Detroit Rock City, when we saw that one, nostalgia didn't play well. I had a good time. Please, what was your opinion? How did you feel about this thing?
Well, it's not a good movie, man.
No, but it's an awesome movie.
No, I mean, it's kind of boring, you know, if I'm being nice about it. I did not laugh once.
I'm curious about Sandy Wexler.
Yeah, you know what? Actually, I did almost. There was one moment that my face twitched a little bit where I might have laughed if I didn't find it so annoying for the most part. It's when they do rock, paper, scissors in the closet.
Chew goes a pillow.
Yeah, but I don't know. It's just like the last time for fun, and they just laugh, and I'm just like, it's such an annoying laugh, but I'm just kind of like, yeah, what's his name? Stephen Baldwin's just how he looks down, just like, you know, thinking he's an idiot. I'm just like, that almost got a chuckle out of me. Almost. Like, you were that close, movie. But then the rest, I was like, well, okay. You know, it's just annoying douchebags that are just doing whatever they can to make 13-year-olds laugh. It's a PG-13 movie. Fine, I'm okay with that. That stuff goes on for like 40 minutes, and it's just random gags where that's all they're doing is just the most annoying stuff in the world. That's really not that funny.
Think about it this way, though. Douchebags, mind you. People that watch MTV, because Pauly Shore, not just being a famous comedian duo's son, also was one of the first MTV VJs. So his fan base, who saw him in films like In the Army Now, Encino Man, Jury Duty, Son-in-Law, Sandy Wexler,
That's true.
saw this about these douchebags that, yes, are annoying and the gags are fucking super juvenile, but they made a Save the Environment movie. This is a fish out of water, earth-conscious, buddy beach party film. It is a weird genre mix mash. And it's so 90s. Like, you get the pizza guy here, who's in Fast Times at Ridgemont High. He's also in something else. Like he's like three things. He died last year. We talked about that on 2 Cents. The actor's name is Taylor Negron. He's also in The River's Edge.
There's a lot of people here. Like there's Rose McGowan that's here for a little bit for whatever reason. There's Joey Lauren Adams.
Big boner for her in this film, right?
I mean,
Kevin Smith
this is
was fucking that.
And this is pre-Chasing
right
Amy.
here.
So
yeah.
Her career must not have been doing that well at that point because she had this and Mallrats, which people hated at the time, mind you. So
this is the thing, though. You said like people hated it. People hated this, and yet did they though? I mean,
when we say
talk
hated,
about
we are talking about critics at the time and what's largely the
critics,
internet community now, because it's easy to just it begs to be bashed on. It really does.
I don't mind that, but it's also, in my opinion, a highly quotable film, which is something in the mid-90s is what you wanted. You wanted people to be like squarely stubbed, like the anatomically correct. There's enough moments here that if you saw this with people, or maybe you're not the quoting type, but I've done it at work several times, where you just say lines on occasion. Or it kind of, I don't know.
I only recognized one thing that a buddy of mine in
thing?
high school would always say is Rochambeau, which I always thought was something completely different, but I know that he loved Biodome, so I figured right when I heard that this is where he got that from. But that's the one thing. Like, I can't really... I can't remember like any quotable moments. Honestly, it's more of just annoying sounds that I remember.
Wait, hold up. You've never heard the term Rochambeau in your life besides from that one guy?
That's where I first heard it. This is back in high school.
Everyone says it's just not common anymore.
Well, he was
it's like
the one guy that
table
used it
tennis
at the
ping
time.
pong.
Probably the one guy that used it in my life, actually.
That's bizarre.
That's just my life.
Is your life also Tenacious D filled? Did you like that cameo?
I did until it didn't go anywhere.
It's their first
like I thought it was cool for a second. I
film
was like, oh hey, Jack Black. They have an opportunity to tell jokes. Oh wait, no. Okay,
this is their
they're
first
all running
time
away.
On camera ever.
Ever? Well, wasn't he in The Cable Guy that same year?
No, I'm saying them, like Tenacious D.
Just Tenacious
the
D
band
together?
started basically because of this film.
Crap. The guy that played the shithead scientist in the movie, the guy that's
Atherton.
The guy that's in Ghostbusters, yeah.
Yeah, Faulkner.
Yeah.
You mother Faulkner. They named him that for one joke.
Yeah, I'm just kind of like, well, he's doing the same thing, just being a dick, and I don't know. I don't even know where to start with this movie. Like, cause
he's a
really...
dick actor. You haven't seen Real Genius, have you?
I don't think so. No.
He plays that same role too. He's just an asshole in every film. That's his shtick. But he has a cool mullet here. He's the evil scientist with the mullet, and he might be a dick, but at least he knows Black Sabbath. So.
Which, yeah, evidently he has a third nipple, by the way. Like, because, I mean, right when I heard that, I was just like, oh, God, they're going to do that kind of, joke. That's what they're going to go for. But they don't even go for that, and I'm actually disappointed that they did not deliver on that type of joke that they promised they would, because it's a line that now comes out of nowhere that is just there.
It's a fun fact. I went to high school with someone that had a third nipple. I never saw it. Well, I did see it in PE. Anyway, I don't know. It just adds characters to the movie. It's so fucking weird and zany. You basically have two
like I figured
Looney
they would at
Tunes.
least pay off on it, but it's like no, it's literally just okay. They're just gonna throw stuff. Like
I was smoking throughout the film. Like I don't.
So, no wonder why you enjoyed it, man. I mean, I
enjoyed it because I enjoyed it.
I was watching. Probably 20 minutes in, I was just thinking, this is bad. This is gonna be really annoying. And then after a while, I just accepted. I was just like, you know what? It's PG-13. I can see that your target audience is probably the kids that are watching all that at the time. Like, I'm sure 8-year-olds would have a better time with this.
Older than that. What are you talking about? Target demographic is us to like 14.
I feel like the cutoff point might be 15 tops because
you have
like, I
cute
would have
girls.
hated this in high school. I'm sure
you have two tandems.
I didn't even
of
like
cute
Half
girls.
Baked at the time, man.
I did. You have two tandems of cute chicks. One of them's Kylie Minogue. Okay, Joey Lawrence Adams on the other team. You have a pretty weird, just the idea of the Biodome 5 that you're introduced first in the film. It's the first screen image you get after the weird, like collage music video thing that happens for the credits, which is just super bizarre.
It's just, well, I don't know.
It sets
It's
that
not,
tone though, and it
sets that
uses
tone
it.
in that this movie's just gonna throw whatever shit it wants at you, and it just doesn't really care about what it's doing. I mean,
From just a sound effect standpoint, from just the musical choices and the way that they do weird sound mixing with like when you first find out that they're cartoon characters and them doing karate moves can bring up that kind of like kung fu film scoring, or when they're playing the air guitar, like the bass line comes out of nowhere. They do that like 2 or 3, 4 different times in this film, and it's super bizarre. And when you throw it with that, also with like the flashbacks, the Mary Poppins line, which killed me as a kid, but I just smiled at here. It's such just like ADD film generation. I don't know. It's like almost Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back tried to capitalize on this same brand of humor.
well, except Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back actually had jokes.
It's
you
because
know, like,
it's meta
this is-
though.
yeah, I mean, but like those were there's sequences in there that went somewhere, and they're playing around with what they can do. This is just literally fucking around. There probably wasn't even really a script, I'm guessing, because it's like when they're in the biodome, it's like, oh, what
totally a
can we do?
script.
Oh, let's bungee jump off the top of it. Like, you know, where do these ideas come from? Like, is this really the best that you can do? Let's get locked in a room and I don't know, like just open a barrel and eat whatever shit that they have. Which there's actual food, by the way. And I don't know, man. The plot holes in
fucking
this
weirdest
movie,
thing.
Well, it's like I didn't really care, but there are so many plot holes here. I mean, come on. The fact that there's the key to the door, which they can
They
just
look
open on
at
the
the
spot they left.
camera and they say, "No way." And you're supposed to look at your buddy and go, "Yeah, that's fucking stupid." Like
Seriously,
that's a
I
bad.
thought that
that's
was-
not a plot hole. The film knew. They wrote it. That was the intention from the beginning. That was like, how do we turn this film? Because think about it this way: they're chaos, right? If it was just the 5 scientists, that'd be a boring ass movie. No one would ever watch that film. Ever.
Well,
Not
I mean,
even that
that's
TV
'cause
show.
This
What
is
you throw?
not really that interesting of an idea.
I think it's a good idea. You take these kids who are fucking stupid that will do anything and destroy the environment. They throw the biggest party ever. They got a live band, they got flyers, just because they're jealous that the chicks that don't love them enough because they're dumbasses might be fucking some other dudes. They got Tenacious D. We'll get a bigger band, come here, partying people like Vasquez Lake are destroying the environment. If you're going to at least do this, have a conscience. Collect your cigarette butts to make a filter and sing a song about it. Know that beer cans can do condensation. You learn like little things here if you were, like I said, this is perfect for its audience. A dumbass like jock who watched MTV, you saw this because it's a Pauly Shore movie. You're like one of the most bankable comedians of that generation for Gen X up until like this film.
Mm-hmm.
I like all these movies. I like Pauly Shore. I could send you a YouTube video of my stand-up. I told you about that, right? I did like a final for a comedy writing class. And that's how I met.
Was that Brian?
Yeah, Brian Allen Lane.
Yeah, that guy.
So we went to Flappers in Pasadena, and I'd say it's the joke in the setup that probably hit the hardest. I got people clapping for me. The line is just, it's like, you know, I'm in film school. My friends, my peers are, you know, trying to be the next Spielberg. I'd be happy to make Biodome. And I would be happy to make this film. I think Jason Blum knew exactly what he was doing here. He wanted to make, it's kind of like the Suicide Squad argument for me.
I don't think that's unfair. You know, like if I'm looking at this and I'm just trying to give it compliments, it's like, you know what? It's adequately
They know what they're
made,
doing.
and it is what
Yeah.
it is. It's just what it is. I do not think happens to be good at all.
I think it is amazing. Like not in terms of being a great film, but in the I like trashy cinema way. I put this in the same league as something like Demolition Man, which is in the news right now because Sylvester Stallone is suing Warner Brothers for more money, I guess, over the rights to that one in particular, which is bizarre. Up there with that, Jawbreaker, like a whole just generation. Teaching Missing Tingle is not good, but like The Faculty is only a step above this. Like for kids necessarily, but young adults coming of age. Environmental story here for me is what it really makes it work, though. Just the eye candy. It's fun to see these young could have been stars because no one here went into crazy success besides Jack Black. They only had a couple years. You're talking about Joey Lawrence Adams. Like, she fizzled
Yeah.
out 99.
90s were mainly her prime.
So is Pauly Shore. Fucking Stephen Baldwin, who I think is way funnier than Alec Baldwin. I just like his hair in this film, their outfits, the fucking jumpsuit like that's tie dyed. Even the girls are everyone's wearing overalls in this movie, or like these like cute tops that are like halfway down so you see everything. They're not wearing bras, and like the puka shell necklaces, the fucking take the thing off the bottom of the soda can. It's 90s. It's so 90s. And if you had to put certain films in, like, whatchamacallit, a time capsule for the mid-90s, this would kind of fit in there. If you saw this, you'd understand youth culture, like Gen Xers being young adults, in the same way like Singles does. Except that's a much more serious approach to what they're going through. This is just like, fuck you, we're having a party, but now we got to clean up the
like
party.
Mallrats, actually, except that they don't go to the mall, but they think that they go. They're just two guys that
That's true.
that have these cute girlfriends, and they get dumped by them. Then somehow they try to win them back throughout the entire movie. It's similar in that way, except I think Mallrats is actually funny. I mean,
But
for
the
me,
critics
there's more...
back then disagreed too.
Yeah, they did. Although,
And how much of that is your Kevin Smith nostalgia because you fell in love with him at a certain
and how
age?
much of that is me watching that when I was a teenager? All those things are fair, but at the same time, I think Mallrats at least has more redeemable value. There is dialogue there that is electric, that is fun to listen to, and even negative reviews at that time, they pointed that out, where it's like, hey, this guy's clearly talented. What the hell is he doing? I mean... With this, it's more like, well, they're not really trying to do anything. I mean, I was mostly bored. Like, I got nothing really to go back on, but Freddy Got Fingered, and that just gave me a reaction of just such hate, where I really just hated the character and everything that he was doing. But to give Freddy Got Fingered credit, at least I remember what the hell happened. This is just like, there's 40 minutes of the movie where they're just doing random shenanigans, and I'm just like, well, okay, it's very annoying and obnoxious, and I'm just kind of looking at my watch and just waiting for it to end, and it's not eliciting a reaction of just hate out of me. It's not like I have any energy to trash this movie at all. I'm just watching. I'm just kind of like, yeah, I'm bored. This movie's just trying to fuck around and make 13-year-olds laugh. That's fine. It's absolutely not for me, and it's... you say it's memorable, but I'm honestly gonna forget this pretty soon. Like, Freddy Got Fingered, at least I will remember the sausages bit. I will remember the baby being swung on the umbilical cord, the fucking horse being jerked off. All those moments I fucking hate with a passion. I'll at least remember them. This, I don't know. I mean, there's nothing that they really do in the dome that I can even think of that's iconic in a bad way for me to remember. It's just kind of like just one way for me.
The scenes
boredom.
for me that work are the fart detective game during the sleepover. Every time I've seen that, I can't take the smile off my face. When they find the junk food, as stupid as that is, and they quote Blue Velvet while doing the nitrous oxide, just the way of Pauly Shore breaking that Spam in half and shoving it in his mouth and saying, I'm a duck-billed platypus. Like, it's so... Your brain is dead. It's brain-dead comedy. It's horribly
there is something
great.
about laughing at stupidity. I mean, in YouTube culture now, we have videos that are just, even stuff like on Vine, like that's like 5 seconds long. It's stuff like that, sometimes it can trigger a reaction out of you. When it's a movie, though, it's difficult to have that momentum. Like, if I use Freddy Got Fingered, for example, I see that sausages clip out of context at a weird Wednesday spot, and I chuckle a little bit because it's 2 seconds long. In context, when it's attached to the entire movie and there's exchanges of dialogue and I know what's happening in the scene, I'm just fucking suffering throughout. So, like having little bits like that sprinkled in for 2 seconds, it's one thing to laugh at stupid, but when it's, 90 minutes long, it's tough really to justify it. Unless
guarantee.
I mean,
if
I really
took
couldn't
the
laugh,
Mothra joke here and made it an Instagram video, it would work. Matter of fact, I will do that. It will be on our Instagram.
Go for it. I'm not stopping it.
If I release that when the Mothra film comes out, it would work because Mothra would be part of the culture. In the mid-90s, Mothra was American culture because Godzilla's a thing. That joke wouldn't work for like 5% of the population currently. Like, this film, just in terms of where it sits in the history of the people in it, Stephen Baldwin and Pauly Shore love when people say they love it. Kylie Minogue has been on record saying that she doesn't even, she pretends basically like this thing never happened. This, I don't know what it is about this movie, and it's probably we're talking about the nostalgia thing. But whereas, and I said it already earlier, Detroit Rock City just, like it was missing something. This was as good of a trip. Maybe it's because I just watched this so many more times. I seriously have seen this at least halfway, like 9 or 10 different times, to the point where I still knew the lines of dialogue or like the punchlines or the gags, or I could sing the songs, which is something you mentioned.
That's part of the fun of
Safety
rewatching
dance.
some stuff that you grew up with, right?
Yeah, but Safety Dance, you get a perfectly placed montage right there. It is integral to the plot. It makes the passage of time work really well. The cop seems like a hard ass, but he like fucking loves this kind of music. It's so weird.
Yeah,
Like,
I mean,
it makes
that,
it seem
to
like a
its
music
credit,
video
the movie
right there.
wraps up pretty fast, and I mean, I will say this, like these characters at least do have an arc, and they change throughout the movie. That was somewhere I was like, all right, right on. At least that is something. Is that you are sort of promoting like, hey, take on responsibility and have a good work ethic and just be persistent and go for it. Like there is development there. So
And they're
yay,
not-
there is that.
They might be stupid, but they're not dicks. They don't cheat on the girlfriends. They
No.
fuck the two scientists.
They just
okay?
fuck each other because they go both ways.
There's no problem with that. They were put out in a desert. They were going to make the dome within a dome. They almost ate a lizard right before they found that key. Think about it. If you were in the middle of the desert, inside of a desert, you'd probably eat a raw lizard. But that's just so fucked up.
I just
Atherton,
don't
like
have to
Faulkner
think
would
about
even
that
do that.
because it's not even a good idea. But I mean, no,
If
like
you were in
honestly, like
space.
getting back to that moment where they opened the door, though, like I seriously thought that was going to be like a mirage within the desert in some way, because they order a pizza and then the friend shows up, and I was thinking like, yeah, there's no way that this is real. And then it kept going. I was like, oh wait, no, this is actually happening. It's not a hallucination. This is okay. I mean, movie, you haven't given a shit up to this point, so why should I be surprised? But
Did you like the TV coverage? Did you like the almost like Paul Verhoeven shit, like the clown assassination?
what the fuck was that? Really? What? No, really. What was that? That like
Back and
at
to
least
the
when
left.
Paul Verhoeven does it, it's satire.
Back?
This was just like
And to the left. I wish there was blood splatter. Like that would make it work. Or if the
PG-13,
clown
yeah.
told a joke right before he got killed, or like you saw the balloons float to the ceiling. Like if they got better camera footage, guerrilla assassination. I'm out. It depends. It's something about Taylor Negron, it's just everyone in this. This is the kind of film that's just the back burner of talent. This might not be a good movie, even if I like it. But everyone here, either before or after being in this film, were all in something really good, or have as maybe won awards or acclaim, or it is a cult classic. And I think this is an almost cult classic, and it's gonna kind of reach a larger audience over time. Hopefully, because of people like us doing this kind of type of show. But I don't think it is as bad as you think it is, and I think that's something that I've been trailing it. Just every time I pick a comedy, and for a while I just didn't want to do comedies because I couldn't handle your criticisms.
Well,
But
it's not offensively bad to me. It's just not good. I'm just kind of like, hey, if you want to like it the way that you do, I'm just kind of like, yeah, that's fine. But
look at Kingpin too, though. Like think about every comedy
at
I've
least
ever
Kingpin,
selected.
though, like I wasn't laughing at that because, granted, slapstick and just broad comedy tends not to be my thing. But at least with Kingpin, I really dug where that ended up, how that wrapped up. Like there was enough there for me to say, like, you know what, this was worth my time. And I mean, it is tricky with comedy because it really does boil down to the simple fact of like whether either you're laughing or you're not. And if I'm not laughing, I mean, I still got to find a reason why, because I don't want to trash on something and just say that's not funny, because it's just such an easy criticism that's not really challenging me at all. And this, I can see the appeal because it's like I liked something like All That as a kid, where I look at stuff like that now and I'm just kind of like, yeah, it's broad and it's just really annoying sounds, and I was a kid. I don't laugh at that now, I mean, I'm sure that like Good Burger might not even make me laugh now, or maybe parts of it might make me laugh out of nostalgia, but it might be comparable to this in a way. But this, no, it doesn't do anything for me. I definitely can't say that this is good, but you know, I see that there is a demographic for this and that they are way younger. I don't think, you know, unless maybe, you know, because it's 420, unless you're getting high just to watch something, you want to laugh at some dumb shit, maybe this might do it for you. I don't know if it would for me, but I mean, yeah, that's where I stand. I wouldn't really buy it. I just don't think it's good, really. That's it.
I would totally buy this for $1, which is going to become like a catchphrase that means less and less if I keep on getting the movies I do for as cheap as I am. Like 25 cents is little, except this week it's a lot.
Yeah, maybe we should come up with a rating system and make the I'd buy it for $1 the top rating, and then just set, yeah, I don't know, do things that rhyme, like dime for like my time, which might be equivalent to a rental or something. Yeah,
it's dime a dozen. You
Something,
only buy it for
in
10
a way
cents.
to rank them. We could maybe work on that. Who knows?
No, it's dime a dozen totally works. It's like if you see 10 movies, this one's all right. It makes the cut. This is a dime a dozen for me, and I'd still buy it for $1. It's the worst, best, horribly not good film that doesn't even end. You were talking about you were waiting for it to end. I was trying to stop you, but you're on a roll. There is no ending here. They go to the factory. They could have set up a sequel. Or at least they did, and they never made it. And now they'll never make it because neither of them are stars anymore.
Kickstarter.
Would you pay to? Well, apparently,
no, but I mean,
Stephen Baldwin on the radio
sequel is getting funded.
It's coming out this year. It's already
that
been
was
made.
through Indiegogo. I mean, you know,
Yeah,
and I enjoyed that movie too.
purchased.
But I'm just saying that's in the same league, though. Really, as far as just like comedies
Yeah.
that tanked back then and kind of have a following on video. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. You're right. I can't buy it for $1. It's a dime a dozen. But
Fair enough.
I still love it in the way that I love a lot of bad movies.
Well, that's
I
fair.
think
mean,
bad
there's also
movies say
nostalgia there
more.
too, right?
Yeah, yes, but everyone has, like, people like to say it's a guilty pleasure. I have no guilt about my loves. And this
I'm
is
there
the
with
kind
that.
of
Like,
film.
if you enjoy something, you shouldn't feel guilty about it.
Put it this way. If you're at someone's house and you're looking at their movie collection, Best Picture winners don't say a lot about the kind of person they are, or Criterion picks, you know.
Yeah,
But
it's-
something shitty like this, you're like, oh, you like that movie? Like you bond over something. It's like the graphic tee that's faded and 30 years old. I don't have this one yet, but I know I'll get it eventually. All right, and I'll be proud.
It's a matter of finding
to
it
have
at the
this one.
Goodwill, right?
Yes. Even so, this like I think the first time I saw this film was what 2000, 2001. And it was one of those, like older guys came over, oh, you haven't seen this, and showed it to us on cable for the first time. Oh, we love it, type of things. And Jay and Silent Bob was that same time period for me. Like, it was just when I first got true exposure to cable, when I first changed the channels on my own, you know, we had possession of the TV for X number of hours. We would watch this all the time. Like, oh, shit, turn it on. We're over it. Let's flip to this one. And when I get to see those moments still, and once again, Detroit Rock City or Kingpin, or I know you haven't seen it, but like Scary Movie 2, certain films,
Yeah.
I still love them. And maybe I don't love the whole thing because in terms of the show, in terms of what it is, but I'm still going to give it a good rating. Like, I'm going to still talk it up. It's hard for me. And
It is nostalgia. Like, you know,
We're gonna
it does bring
talk
back
about
like
this-
those times and just stuff that you enjoyed, right? I mean, like Adam Sandler movies, which we'll get to that
Exactly.
later.
Yeah,
But
we're gonna pimp that
They
up.
do have that effect. Waterboy, I'm sure. Like, I don't know if I can judge that one, you know, fairly. Like, I would totally just be blindsided by that and enjoy it.
oblongata.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening. We hope it's been a pleasure. If you like this show and you want to hear more of our wonderful voices on a weekly basis, check out 2 Cents. I'll recap what's happened in film, TV, and tech news.
We're also on the titular Dollar Review Show, a spoiler-free critique of new releases or anything we've discovered on our own, whether that be TV, music, etc.
You can find all of our content at dollarreviews.net. Follow us on Twitter or like us on Facebook at Dollar Reviews.
And we're also on Google Play Music, iTunes, Pocket Cast, TuneIn, Stitcher, SoundCloud, YouTube, just about anywhere on the internet with hours of content available to you for free. But for those of you that feel that the show is worth your dollar, you can send us a donation at patreon.com/dollarreviews. Contributions not only earn our undying love, but they also make it possible for us to improve our recording equipment and to give you the highest quality episodes possible. But more importantly, they'd be helping us acquire the content to review. You know, trips to the multiplex are expensive, and the more donations we receive, the more films we can review for your listening pleasure.
If you listen somewhere we're currently not available, you'd like to contribute some talking points, send a Death to Cinema request, or if you just want to laugh at us, you can do so by reaching out to us on social media or send an email to brian@dollarreviews.net.
Or you can email me as well, steve@dollarreviews.net.
You can follow me personally on Twitter at Brian Gillis, that's BRYONGILLIS, and now you know how to spell the email too, and also under the same name on the lovely site Letterboxd, which acts as my film diary, where I rate films that I'm watching, write the occasional review, and even sometimes compile lists.
You can also find me on Twitter at S_MTX, and also follow my film diary at Letterboxd under the same name, where I log everything I watch, and sometimes write brief reviews.
That's it for this week. Until next time, keep the change.